I can't start saying, okay, because I'm a nurse, because I'm skillful, I know how to swim, I'll not include swimming inside my skills. I mean, what does swimming have to do with nursing? So quickly, let's move to writing a good CV, which is curriculum vitae. Yes, what is a CV and what is not a CV? A CV is not an essay. Therefore, you don't need to write 10 pages, you don't need to write 15 pages, you don't need to write. I'm exaggerating right now, but some people have CV of 4 pages, 5 pages. I don't know what you're trying to prove. I don't know if you're trying to win the a novel winning prize or whatever that is. I don't know, but honestly, your CV should not be more than 2 pages, because I don't know what you're trying to write. You're trying to like sell yourself to an employer, trying to like sell yourself to an organization. Doesn't mean that you should own a book or you should write a book about yourself. They just need short information about yourself. That's all. That's very, very simple. So another thing a CV is not is that it is not an informal letter. Just like a cover letter is not an informal letter, it is formal. You're writing it to an organization where you want to get employed. So it is something that is formal and not informal. So you don't need to exchange pleasantries. You don't need to like ask about family member. You don't need to include personal stuff in your CV writing. Then another thing a CV is, now let's go with what a CV is. A CV is personal. The reason why your CV is personal is because you're trying to like sell yourself out to an employer, to an organization. So you don't want to go about putting what you're not in that CV. So if somebody gives a CV out to a professional to help them, draft and all, and you bring it back to yourself, okay, because you're rushing, because you don't have time to like go through the CV, because some people are that lazy that you give somebody something to work for you, to do for you, and you don't even go through it to know what is in it. Is a problem. Because at the end of the day, when you go for your interview and your employer start asking you questions because they will surely ask you questions related to your CV, and when they do, how do you defend those things that are in your CV? How do you do that? For people that are very, very lazy to like go through what has been done for them by a professional. That's why I feel like if you know that you're the kind of person that is very lazy to do things that you cannot go through, you can't just sit down to work on your own, you have to give it to someone to do it for you, make sure you create time to like review the CV if you know that you cannot do it on your own. But personally, I would advise that your CV is personal, so you have to do it on your own. Do it yourself. Then after you must have done it, you can now give it to somebody. That is when I advise that you give it to somebody that has the knowledge, that is experienced enough to help you to review, to add, to subtract, and to do other things to modify it for you. Not that you're giving it to that person from the start to help you draft, and then you don't even bother to go through it. You just go for interview and you just mess up. So it's meant to be personal. So if you don't want to do it on your own, you can just give it out to somebody. But one thing you must do is to make sure you review the CV before you go for any interview, so you don't mess up, so you don't flop. Your CV should be personal. Then another thing in your CV, that you shouldn't tell lies in your CV. Do not tell lies in your CV. Don't tell lies that will break you. Don't tell lies that will make you mess the whole thing up. Don't tell lies in your CV. Then a CV should not include your demographic data, like your date of birth, your marital status, your sex, your age, and all those things. Your CV doesn't need that. Your employers don't need that. You don't need to start, okay, date of birth, this and that, and blah blah. Your employers don't need that, so you don't need to include it in your CV writing. And also, your home address is not needed in your CV writing. Don't include your home address in your CV writing. It is not important. So guys, let's quickly get into tips in writing a good CV. Number one thing you should note that you should consider when writing a good CV is that you should always include your cover letter to your CV writing. Whether you're writing it's an online application or you're going in person to submit your CV, always attach your cover letter to your CV. That's tip one. And number two is that you should consider the vocabularies you use. You don't want to use an English that is too big that your employer has to like carry dictionary to to understand the meaning of those words you're using. Use vocabularies that are not extreme, that are not too huge for your employer to easily understand, because that is what will happen. Your employer would be so confused as to, okay, this person is blowing too much grammar and I don't have the strength, I don't have all the time in the world to like understand this person's English. So you want to consider your vocabularies that I'm making sure that they are not too huge for your employer to understand. Then the point 3 you should consider when writing a good CV is the good spacing. Like I said in the cover letter, your spacing, your fonts, your font size, your font type, those things should be put in place. You would want to use Times New Roman for the font type, and the size shouldn't be, for the heading should be 14 at least, then for the body should be 12. That's like the font, like the standard font size. Yeah, so you want to consider good spacing, the line spacing, the paragraph spacing, everything is intact when writing your your CV, because you're not trying to like create a design book, or you're not trying to do a graphic design when you use heading. Like for your heading now, you start using a different font for the body, a different font for this, different font, and all that. So you don't want to like create a graphic design for your employers when you're not one. You might be one, but that doesn't matter in an official setting, in a professional setting. But if it is, even if you're trying to write to a graphic design company, you don't have to make your CV look like a graphic sheet. I hope you get what I'm trying to say right now, but really just consider that when writing your CV and all that. So another thing you want to consider is the proper use of punctuation. You should know when the full stop comes, you should know when the comma comes, you should know when the question mark comes, you should know where the apostrophe comes, and every of that. Just make sure you use your punctuations properly. Then another thing you'd want to consider when writing a good CV is like replacing very long sentences with similar words, with synonyms, words that are similar in meaning to those long sentences. You don't want to like write too long, so that is even going to make your CV shorter, so you don't have to extend to 3-4 pages. Another thing you would want to consider when writing a good CV is using of bullet points. So your bullet points will make your work very neat. It will make your work very readable and very organized and in orderly. So you would want to consider using bullet points, especially when you're writing your roles and duties. You would want to consider that, because it makes your work neat and in order. Then another thing you should consider when trying to write a good CV is your personal data. Your personal data should include your name, your contact information only, which are your email and phone number. We don't need your home address. Your employer doesn't need your home address. I already said that. They don't need that. So you should just include your name, your full name, Igbasan Eniola, and your third name maybe, or your middle name. Then you put your contact information only, your email address and your phone number. That's all. That's fine. Then another thing you want to consider when writing a good CV is replacing your hobbies with interests. Your hobbies, you replace it with your interests. If you like going for seminars, if you like attending trainings, if you like creating a friendly relationship with people, those are your interests. So you replace your hobbies with interests. That's another point. Then last but not the least is giving your CV to a very knowledgeable person, somebody that has like a very adequate knowledge about CV writing, to help you review it. The person can help you modify it, the person can help you add to it, the person can help you subtract from it. So that is when it is really necessary to give your CV out. After you must have done all of this, you've drafted it yourself, you've printed it out, or you have a soft copy, you can just give it to someone that has an adequate knowledge of this. The person can help you to review this and add some things and subtract some things from it. That is only when it is advisable to give your CV out. But like I said earlier, if you feel like you're too lazy or you cannot draft your CV on your own or create your CV on your own. You can give it to somebody, but do not forget to go through it. Do not forget to review it. Do not forget to understand what is in it in order for you not to mess up. Lastly, guys, there's a template I want to share with us. It could be useful, it could be helpful for you, or it can even just guide you towards what is and what is not when trying to write a CV. So the template I use, it works for me, it might work for you, and it might not work for you. I don't know. Fingers crossed. So you should just, listen to this. So the first one on my list is your personal data. That's one. Personal data, which includes your name, info, your email address, and your phone number. That's the first thing you'll see. The second one you want to consider when writing a CV is your personal profile. And when I'm saying your personal profile, you're trying to provide a very specific, up-to-date knowledge about you, your strengths or your achievements. And mind you, it should not be too long, it should not be too much, because already you have a cover letter that has a short description about you. That is the reason why you're attaching it to your CV, so that your employer just goes through that first and understand, okay, this is what I know about this person, before going to your CV to have the rest of the details. So you don't want to write so much in your personal profile. Then another thing you should consider when writing a good CV, like the templates, is the skills. Your skills. What are your skills? What are the abilities that you have? What can you do? What can you not do? You don't have to include what you cannot do, but your skills, what you're capable of doing. If you have a professional course that you've done before, you can just include that. Okay, I don't want to use an example of a nursing thing again. So whatever your skill, whatever skills you have, and make sure it's related to your profession. I'm a nurse. I can't start saying, okay, because I'm a nurse, because I'm skillful, I know how to swim, I'll not include swimming inside my skills. I mean, what does swimming have to do with nursing? Yeah, so you have to make sure it is related to your profession also. Then, and also another thing you would consider in the templates, the next template is your work history. I mentioned personal data, personal profile, skill, and now work history. Your work history, you're trying to put the most recent history of your work to the least one, like the most recent job to the previous. Then you include the name of each employers in your work history. Then another template is your educational background can now come in. Educational background also from the most recent to the least. From the most recent to the least. I don't want to bite my tongue. So the next template is your roles and duties. Like I said, when you're considering writing your role and duty, you should bullet it, because it makes it in order, and it makes the employer catch what you're trying to write immediately. So your roles and duty comes after your educational background, and you should bullet it. Then another one is your interests. You can include your interest. Okay, you like training, you like attending seminars, you like going exploring, you like traveling, whatever is related to your profession. Like I said, just include it in your interest. Then the last one, which last but not the least, is the reference. So a lot of people, is your school of thought, I don't know, is your choice. A lot of people don't like to include their reference names to their CV, and a lot of people do, but it's your choice. Whatever works for you. Nobody's going to break you, nobody's going to criticize you because of that. So for me, I don't write my reference in my CV. I only put that it will be provided on requests. When they request for it during the interview, I'll provide it. That's just it. But if you feel like you just want to put it, you can put it. It's fine. Nobody's going to hold you against it. So yes, we've come to the end of today's topic, and I really hope you've learned something. I really hope you're taking something in the tip of your hands, and I really hope you're going to share my videos, to share this knowledge with people that you know. I really hope you work with this thing I've shared with you today. So guys, like I said, for the templates, let me recap the templates that I use that works for me. It might not work for you, it might work for you, but it can serve as a guide for you. Number one is personal data. Number 2, personal profile. Number 3, skills. Number 4, work history. Number 5, educational background. Number 6, roles and duties. Number 7, interest. And the last one, reference. Number 8. So I have like 8 templates that guides me when writing my CV. It makes my work in order. So guys, we've come to the end of the show. Did I say show? Is it a show? Whatever, we've come to the end of today's topic. So guys, do not forget to subscribe to my channel. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please, I'm begging you. I need you guys. I need your support. I need your likes. Please, that like, just hit that like button. Anytime you see my video pop up, watch my videos. Don't be tired to watch them. They might be very long. I'm sorry. It's just talk. This talk, no only. Please, just make sure you watch it to the end. Try as much as possible. Like my, see that button, just hit that like button. That one that is always like this, that is like this, not the one that is like this. So the one that is always like this. Please hit that button, subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification bell, please. So guys, I really love you and I thank you so much for always pushing me. Guys, enjoy yourself. Have a nice day, week, night ahead. Whenever you're trying to watch this video, whenever you choose to watch this video, I don't know when, but just have a nice time.